Welcome to Type C Tech Reviews. Today we're going to be unboxing the LG 27GR95QE, aka their OLED. If at any point during the video you want to check out this exact same monitor, there's Amazon links below for the US, UK, Canada, and international links. But let's get this thing unboxed. We're going to check which side is the front, so that's the front, so we're going to open on the other side. Now guys, 1440p. In OLED, 240 Hz, the first gaming monitor that is an OLED. We're going to be reviewing this incredibly objectively because this is such a big release. And while I love OLEDs, I've definitely been more about IPS panels going mini LED with local dimming just because they're more reliable over time, and I've had my fair share of bad experiences with OLEDs, although when they're new, they're usually unbelievably good, so let's see how this is. Okay, so the stand, I believe, is the same stand on the other LG monitors, but maybe I'm wrong. So this is all metal down here. The seal is quite premium. I can't actually remember at this point what the GQ950 and GQ850 are, but this is solid metal, really premium edges. This has got to be different, right? I don't remember it being this good on the other monitors. That's really nice. Completely solid metal, guys. That's impressive. Now, this seems like it's pretty much the same as the GQ series. Yes, okay, so I think this is all the same. It's kind of that off gray, not quite black, but this is all glossy back there. I don't remember if that's the same or not, but overall a very nice stand. You have a ton of adjustability here, definitely an upgrade, although slight wiggle. Sometimes LG monitors have that, but not a big deal. All right, let's line this up with the base and screw it together with the high quality thumb screw. Really digging the all metal base here. That's really impressive. All right, now we have a little box in here, which is nice and premium. That's what LG does for their more premium monitors. So we're gonna open this up. We got a lot of goodies in here. All right, an HDMI 2.1 cable. We got our cable management clip right here. So this is our little cable management clip. We'll take that plastic off. So that actually just goes right onto the back, right in there, and that's our little cable management thing. Works well enough. We've got a remote with this monitor. I feel like this is a Samsung monitor now. All right, so we got our nice little remote. Buttons actually feel nice. This feels more like a budget TV rather than like a cheap monitor remote. Although, looks like we do have a battery, so not quite as good as Samsung's, which had a USB Type-C for charging. Although, not sure absolutely on that yet. That'll be in the full review coming in a very short amount of time, few days. I'm gonna try to work my face off and review this one as quick as possible, but still doing it very, very well. I will be going through every single possible thing with this monitor. All right, yes, and you can see here, I think that's the battery for the remote right there. So that's kind of, you got a removable battery for something like that, 2022, $1,000. Kind of wish they would have done USB Type-C, but we have a small little power brick for the power connection, which is actually kind of surprising. Look at that, very small little power brick. Here is the other end of the power cable. Then we've got a USB Type-B to USB Type-A, and then we've got a DisplayPort cable. All right, that's everything in the box. Now let's get to what everyone wants to see, the monitor and panel itself. A 27-inch panel. Honestly, I wish they would have done a little thing up the middle so it would have been easier to get this on, especially with how thin the screen is, but honestly, I think I'm not gonna take the chance with the OLED. We're just gonna rip the bottom like that. And all you gotta do for this clip-in stand, get the top in, press it down, and we're locked in. All right, guys, not too heavy. I mean, heavy, but not that heavy. This monitor looks awesome. The GQ series looked amazing. This one looks even cooler because of these small edges right here. Now this is all plastic. We've got a little cover over the back UltraGear logo. All right, so a couple things going on. Different kind of way of doing ports now, but they're still facing back, which I actually prefer. Okay, so we got both of our HDMIs there, which are 2.1. We got our display port there. We've got an optical or a digital audio out. Then we've got a USB Type-B upstream and then two USB Type-A downstreams. Do we have any other USB Type-A's across here? No, and it looks like the menu system is different. Well, that's really strange. That's very interesting. Typically, LG has a joystick in the center, middle chin. Is this going to be the only way that you're gonna control this monitor? That's a little strange. All right, I'm working with it. All right, so the stand, adjustability. We've got height. Really don't like pressing on the small amount of screen there, but we've got height, feels great. Tilt, we've got some swivel, and we've even got full rotation here. Now, does it go full rotation the other way? I don't think so, no. But overall, really good. This bottom piece is completely metal. It's super solid and nice. I love that. All right, let's get this flipped around though. This looks cool down here. I'm gonna say that right away. This looks very cool. I do like that there's no LG or UltraGear or any branding on the front bottom chin, although it is slightly thicker than the top and three other edges. This is a matte finish. Not what I prefer. And again, it's not a 100% matte finish. It's more of like that hybrid matte finish, how if you come in here and we kind of look sideways, it's not a 100% matte finish. It's a slight matte finish. If you have experience with matte finishes, yeah, it's not going to be that. I wish this was full glossy, but LG's done a pretty good job with this kind of finish so far, so probably gonna be okay. All right, let's get this thing hooked up, see how it does. I'm a little worried about the brightness, but I've heard that HDR is good. Let's see how it is. I'm pretty excited, but also a little nervous. I wanna like this monitor, but I'm gonna be very objective with this review, or this unboxing, and then review coming in a few days. All right, let's get it hooked up. All right, guys, now with it set up on the desk, let's get into it. See what this thing's about. Number one, I'm gonna say, you do have to take this little screw out, which was honestly, unless I was a tech reviewer, I would not have had a screwdriver that small. That's weird as heck. Most TV remotes, you can just pop the bottoms off. That was bad. That's like weird. Also, I've looked all over this monitor and it seems like the only way you're gonna be able to control this really is with the remote. Another thing I'm not too big on, that's how the other Samsung monitors were. The new ones like the G6 and the G7 are the newer ones, the G60B and the G75B, but at least they did have controls on here. It looks like this one only has the power button. So let's turn it on with that. Classic LG beep. There we go. Okay, so is there any control? Oh, we have a nice light down there. That's actually a super nice light. Yeah, I really like that. All right, guys, so with it up here, first thing I'm gonna say, bezels are bigger than I thought they would be. Quite a bit bigger than I thought they would be. They're actually fairly thick around the edges, and even though the bottom one is thicker, it's only slightly thicker. The bezels are quite thick. That's interesting. Okay, let's go to the menu system. Looks like you click it by clicking that, 240 Hertz. This is all the new LG menu system, which is great. Let's see if we can cover this and see if it'll still work. Yeah, so it looks like the range, we're gonna turn it backwards and do the same thing. Looks like the range is pretty good. We do have the hexagon lighting in the back, so if you go back there, you can like check that. It's kind of cool. I think on the GQ, which was pretty much the same thing, it lit it up nicely. We've got Gamer 1. I'm gonna say right away, the colors are really, really good. Like the colors are absolutely beautiful. Obviously, this is just an SDR, but let's kind of go through here. Gamer 2, FPS, RTS, Vivid, Reader, HDR effect, sRGB, color weakness, calibration 1, calibration 2. That's really cool that they have that, especially if you're a creator. This means you can actually store color calibrations on the monitor itself. Now, let's go into Gamer 1. We're gonna go into Game Adjust. You have Black Stabilizer, all of your main stuff here. We're gonna go to Picture Adjust. It's at 100% brightness. Okay, now I'm gonna tell you guys right away. Yeah, it's not as bright as you would expect it to be. This is a bright room. And in the dark, it's probably gonna be great, but I'm gonna tell you, probably the mode to have this in is HDR. And that's what I'm gonna mainly be reviewing this in, because I can tell you right away, like this is not enough. And I will say, reflections don't seem to be a problem at all for me. I mean, doing basic work stuff like this, even gaming on it would probably be fine, but it's not going to be that experience that you want it to be, at least for me. And if I'm paying $1,000, I want this to be a really good experience. Let's go to NVIDIA control panel, and we're actually gonna be testing out gaming first in HDR. Okay, so it's at 2560 with 1440p. It's reading that there's a 4K thing, but that might just be downscaling, whatever. We're getting some weird stuff going on. Does this one also have that same thing as the QD OLED? We're getting some weird stuff. I can see the RGB elements in here. Is it just, I don't know. That's gonna be in the full review. We're having some text clarity issues. Is it just because the subpixel layout is different? I'm assuming that's probably what it is. We're gonna see if, yeah. But let's chain this all the way up to 12 bits of color, which is great. Colors look really, really good. But it's also fairly dim. Let's turn this into HDR and see what it looks like just on desktop. Wow, okay, just on desktop, it didn't really get any brighter as far as the overall, but obviously what we're looking here for is HDR optimized content, and we're looking for those highlights. So let's jump in game, see how this thing games. We're starting it off in HDR. And this obviously has FreeSync Premium Pro because we can have a variable refresh rate on with HDR. All right, let's hop in some Battlefield 2042. We have a little thing coming up here that has HDR coming on, all that's good stuff. Infinite black levels, obviously great. Okay, so we got HDR on, 240 Hertz, 1440p. Let's see how this does. So far, honestly, being completely honest with you, highlights are looking nice, but it's a little dim. It's a little dim. And everyone says OLEDs don't need as much brightness. We'll see if that's true. We'll see how this HDR experience is. We haven't actually gamed on it. So far, it's a little, like the colors look great and stuff, but it's like a little underwhelming, to be honest with you. All right, guys, hopping right in game. Let's see how this thing is. Obviously, this thing is absolutely freaking buttery smooth because it's 240 Hertz and there's literally, I mean, it's so nice to game on as far as speed, but I'm gonna tell you right away. Let's see if I can get this kill. There we go. Ooh, it's buttery smooth. This feels like telepathy. If you guys have ever used like high refresh rate monitors, but this is really across the board with high refresh rate monitors, but obviously the OLED, I mean, yeah, it's really good. Now, resolution, it's only 1440p. Would I have preferred 4K? Yes, in a 32-inch screen size. Now, we're in a fairly bright room. The windows are not open. Wow, that guy was just not smart. Okay. But yes, This is a really good, enjoyable gaming experience. Would I buy this personally? Obviously, I did buy this for review. Would I buy this personally just from now? Is a big solid no, which is like not what I was expecting. This is not that great because of the brightness. And I know a lot of people are gonna be like in the comments, the OLEDs don't need the brightness. Yeah, so let's try that. We're gonna turn the lights off and see how this thing games. It might look a little bit weird on camera, but just for the overall experience and getting my first impressions, let's turn the lights off because I feel like that's where this thing is going to shine. So that's what we're gonna do. I want to love this thing, but we'll see. All right, let's hop in game now. We have some of these ambient light thingies on, some lamps, that's what they're called. So let's hop in now. Okay, now is a totally different experience. I can tell you right away, a totally different experience. This looks absolutely beautiful. I mean, it's super fast. It's really fast. This looks really, really, really good. And it's so freaking quick. Not only like the pixel response time, but also like I can tell you the input lag is like freaking insane, which obviously we expect for 240 Hz monitors, but I mean, this is really, really good. Now, even though we're now in the dark, it still feels a little dim. Remember, we are in HDR now. So this is like supposedly the brightest that you can possibly get this. I mean, we have the highlights over here. The HDR overall tuning is really good. Like it's really good. It's quite good. One of the best, I think. You can see, you keep detail everywhere. You keep detail everywhere on this panel. In HDR, but I don't know, guys. It's definitely dim. And spending $1,000 on only a 27-inch 1440p monitor that's this dim is just not something I would do. Just from first impressions, remember, full review coming in a few days. I'm gonna be spending a lot of time with this monitor and see what I think about it after that. But I mean, the gaming performance is really good, but is it better than, you know, other 240 Hz gaming monitors? I mean, yes, but how much better? The blacks are obviously fantastic, but I'm gonna tell you something. When you're in these darker areas of the screen and it being so dim, it makes it hard to see things. Obviously, you can do like you can turn up the gamma or turn down the gamma or whatever you wanna do to like help with the shadows or anything, but then that kind of beats the purpose of the OLED. Yeah, I know a lot of people, I've watched some reviews on it already and they're like, the brightness is fine because it's an OLED. And well, some people might enjoy this really like a lot and some people are going to love this. So I do want to review this and talk about this. Like for me, it's probably not something that I'm going to love because I absolutely love bright monitors. I absolutely love a super, super, super vibrant panel. The colors are fantastic. I mean, the colors really are incredibly good, but it's not bright enough for me. Even in a totally dim and dark room, it's not bright enough for me to justify spending $1,000 on, or $999.99, which I already spent on this monitor. But if I was buying this just for myself, it's too dim. And I don't know if other reviewers are saying that, but this is in HDR. Also do want to mention, and this is something that I kind of noticed a little bit, but I wanted to give it some time. It's been enough time now. The matte finish is not good. The matte finish is like actually surprisingly not good because the other LG panels did a really good job with this and this one is not good. I don't know what the difference is here, but this is a bad matte finish, even though it's one of those more hybrid ones. This was an incredibly hyped up monitor and like with the lights on, guys, I don't know if it comes through on video. The actual colors look fantastic, but oh my God, I cannot see anything. Like I literally cannot see anything. If I was fighting in here, nah, like it's not, you're not going to be better when fighting in a dark room. It looks beautiful and cinematic, but you can't freaking see anything. It's not bright enough. Obviously part of that's the OLED, but you mix the OLED black levels with not having any brightness and it's like, what's going on? This is $1,000 and it's only 1440p and it's only 27 inches and I don't even have a dang joystick down here. It's a little freaking weird, guys. And then you got these thicker bezels. I'm honestly kind of disappointed. When you also look at parts of the screen right here, in the brighter sections of the screen, bad matte finishes kind of look like oil slick. Now, I wasn't expecting this to have this because of, you know, it's not a super matte finish. And that when they're very, very matte, they usually look like this. This has that oil slick effect. It degrades the picture quality a lot. It degrades the picture quality way more than I thought it was going to, especially in OLED. You think picture quality is going to be amazing. I don't know. It's underwhelming and it's kind of disappointing, but not the full review. So take all this with a grain of salt. These are my first impressions. These are impressions that you might get if you're also a display enthusiast. Let's do the ghosting test. Obviously here we're expecting perfection. Also again, I don't know about the sub-pixel layout, but it looks like it's not RGB. I don't know if you can see on video, but all of the RGB is like separated. All of the red, green, blue is separated. Now obviously here it's absolutely perfect. It's an OLED. yeah, there's no ghosting. There's literally no ghosting. Let me take this so you can see. There is literally none. It is absolutely crystal clear, and that's a huge benefit to an OLED. Whether that's worth it to you or not, the actual gaming performance, the input lag feels super freaking low. It's 240 hertz, everything feels so freaking fluid. But if you're balancing not only having a super amazing gaming experience, but also balancing having a beautiful screen, which the colors are, but the brightness is not there. And honestly, for your more fast-paced gamers that are like, I want zero ghosting, it's too freaking dim. So you're gonna be artificially pumping up those shadows, and it's just probably not gonna look good. So then it's like, well, yeah, you're getting zero ghosting, but you're not getting the full benefit of an OLED. This needs to be brighter. If this is a panel that they're gonna ask you to spend $1,000 on, this needs to be brighter. This is not even close to the Quantum Dot OLED by Dell. Dell's Quantum Dot ultra-wide OLED was way better than this one as far as brightness. And it's only $1,300, and I think the FreeSync version of it is even less than that. And this is FreeSync. And that one's significantly cheaper, and just from like usage that I used it for, the HDR seemed better, like way better. Like I would buy that one. I wanted to buy that one badly and put it on my desk, but I couldn't justify the price tag. But this, I don't think I would ever buy this as my own personal monitor. But just my initial impressions, we'll see how it goes, because I wasn't expecting, honestly, to not like this one. I was expecting to absolutely fall in love with this panel, but never know. It'll be a few days of intensive review, and then it'll come out, and we'll see what I think about it then. But yeah, again, if you want to check it out, there's Amazon links below, although it's probably not available right now because it's still in pre-order, so I did have to pre-order this, but it should be out fairly soon on Amazon. But yeah, Amazon links below. This is Type-C Tech Reviews, and I'll see you guys in the full review.